Good morning, everybody. It's 7 a.m. and I will call the special meeting of the San Gabriel City Council to order. This morning, Councilmember Liao is attending by telephonic conference from the San Antonio Marriott River Center, room 529, 101 Bowie Street, San Antonio, Texas. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pooh,
Here.
Vice Mayor Menchaca,
Here.
Councilmember Costanzo, here. Councilmember Harrington,
Here.
Councilmember Liao.
Here.
Great. All right, we will actually, we will do a Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilwoman Costanzo will lead us.
Please stand, place your right hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent, thank you. So at the outset, I want to thank my council colleagues for being here and being able to be present for this meeting. I also want to thank staff for making all the arrangements, especially with the telephonic conference of Councilmember Liao from San Antonio.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome. And Nancy especially, and the city clerk's office for all being here early in the morning. So next we have public comment.
Pursuant to the provisions of Government Code Section 54957, this is the time provided for members of the public to address the City Council regarding matters on this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. First we have Mr. Eric Sunada.
Thank you for being here today. It's really, it's one of those things where some little people will know exactly what efforts you guys are making to do this on such an emergency basis and how many people it can affect. So really thank you so much for being here at 7 in the morning. Although the final counts won't be available till after the opportunity to help has passed, data from the Housing Rights Center shows statistically significant evidence of retaliatory actions by landlords. The city of San Gabriel is a majority renter city, and with a significant lower income population that, excuse me, that would qualify for affordable housing. This is a group that needs to be protected and defended. They're in a very precarious position, and you have an awesome amount of power today to help them. I'd ask you to please implement this moratorium and to effectively implement AB 1482 early, which means that it goes beyond, excuse me, so early. It goes beyond just doing the to guard against no-fault evictions, but also for the rent, to limit the rent cap immediately, because otherwise there's residents who are being subject to that who don't know and effectively will leave. And they will be protected, but not until January. So please implement the rent cap as well. Also, if you do pass it, which I hope you do, that you advertise it, wide and far, so that people know their rights, both the landlords and the tenants. And let's see. Yeah, that's it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sunada. Next is Mr. Shawn McMorris.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I also want to thank all of you and staff for being here so early for this important matter. And I want to thank the City Attorney's Office for putting an ordinance together so quickly. I hope that you will pass an ordinance today on an emergency basis. As Mr. Sunada said, that it will help a great number of people, and it will protect potentially many tenants who have not yet received evictions without cause, and just really prepare the landlords to follow what they're going to have to follow in a month and a half when AB 1482 comes into effect. As I mentioned previously, a lot of tenants won't come forward for various reasons, whether it be language or cultural barriers, or whether it be a fear of landlord retaliation. This temporary or moratorium will not affect the many good landlords who are doing the right thing. I benefit from one of those many good landlords, but that doesn't mean there aren't bad apples out there who are causing undue harm to many good families and causing people to leave our great, our lovely city who don't necessarily want to. I'll just reiterate briefly what Mr. Sunada said, that I haven't gotten a chance to look through the whole ordinance. The no-fault eviction stuff looks really good. I will note that Alhambra and I believe Pasadena also kind of did what Mr. Sunada did, which is basically implement as well the rent increase portion early, which is the 5% plus inflation. Currently, it kicks into effect retroactively on January 1, which means any landlord that increased their rent beyond that rate beginning in March 2019 to now, they have to revert back. But in the meantime, from March to December 31st, they can raise it to whatever they want, which essentially means that those tenants, if they can't afford it, do have to leave. But I hope you will pass this ordinance today, and thank you again.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Teresa Eilers.
Hi, good morning, Council. My name
Morning.
is Teresa Eilers. I am with the United Ways Everyone In campaign. Our goal and our work is to end homelessness countywide. I want to applaud you all for hearing us at Tuesday's meeting. It takes a lot of leadership to make a split decision. Urgent times call for strong leadership, and from your strong leadership, we hope other cities, small cities in the San Gabriel Valley throughout the state, are able to recognize your work and implement similar decisions. It's one thing when the city of Los Angeles, the city of Pasadena decide to take bold leadership. It's another thing when smaller cities decide to take the same actions, and then other cities can replicate that model. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Getting here at 7 a.m. I don't think it was challenging for all of us. So I noticed that, and I thank you for that. So my work is specifically on homelessness. Generally, I work on figuring out ways to get people who are currently on the streets into housing. This is a unique opportunity to prevent homelessness. We know that studies say that the majority of people today who fall into homelessness for economic reasons, whether that's loss of a job, an eviction, rent increase. There's a lot of stigma. People usually think, the majority of people who are experiencing homelessness are because of mental illness, drug issues. That is not the case anymore with our economy. Hands down, it's because of economic reasons. Studies also say that when people become homeless, they stay in their cities. That's where their friends are, their family, their children's schools, their jobs are. So this is a great way to prevent increasing homelessness here in San Gabriel, in the San Gabriel Valley. I will also echo what my peers have said. Other cities have implemented AB 1482 early, which includes not only the no-fault eviction moratorium, but also the rent freeze, which is going to go into effect come January 1st anyways, which will state I believe it's March 1st, that no rent can be, all rents will have to go back to the March 1st level come January 1st. However, they couldn't go up for December 1st. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. I don't have any other speakers' request cards at this moment. Is there any other member of the public who would like to address the City Council on this item? Seeing none, I will close public comment, and we will proceed to the next item.
Urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Gabriel, California, establishing interim prohibition of no-fault evictions through December 31st, 2019 for residential real property built prior to January 1st, 2005, pursuant to Government Code Sections 36934 and 36937. And we will now have the staff presentation.
Okay.
Just very briefly, so Assembly Bill 1482, which was passed last month, prohibits owners of residential real property from increasing rents more than 5% within a 12-month period, plus the percentage change in the cost of living, or 10%, whichever is lower. To ensure that landlords cannot engage in the prohibited rent gouging by replacing current tenants with new tenants, the bill also requires to have to state a just cause for any eviction. This law is effective January 1, 2020. The proposed urgency ordinance before you implements a stopgap measure to protect renters from no-fault evictions through December 31, 2019, before the state law comes into effect. This means that the landlord can only terminate a tenancy for just cause, which, for example, includes non-payment of rent, breach of lease, or criminal activity. A landlord's failure to comply with this prohibition would render any notice of termination of tenancy void. Additionally, this prohibition may be asserted as an affirmative defense in any unlawful detainer action. Per Government Code Sections 36934 and 36937, this urgency ordinance would be effective immediately upon 4/5 vote by the City Council.
Okay. Thank you, Martin. Is there any comments or questions from the council? No? Yeah, I think we all had a chance to read it over last night, and I think it looks pretty good. I like the findings here, and the recitals of it being, for preservation of public peace, health, and safety, and that that this ordinance is needed to assist tenants in economic hardship and the potential displacement that may lead to homelessness and have negative effects on the community. Councilmember Liao, since you're participating telephonically, do you have any comments or questions?
Well, actually, I'm here in National League of Cities conference, so I ran into the mayor of Beverly Hills and city council member of West Hollywood. Yeah, these two cities, they're famous for their high rent, but however, they do have this rent control for many years, as a matter of fact. But still, I asked them about this, temporary ordinance, but they said they all enforce the laws already. So the way I see it is, I think bringing it down to this all, we got to have rent control to make sure tenants can afford to pay the rent, and this law is good because AB 1482 provides 5% and plus the cost of living, maybe 3.5% right now, so that's like 8.5%. But for the past 20 years of Los Angeles, they have the same rent control, over 30, 30, maybe 40 years already. I cannot remember, but it's much less than the state rent stabilization ordinance. And for this temporary moratorium, I think it's needed because we're getting into holiday season, and so just for humanity's side, I don't think any landlord should evict these tenants during the month of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So and usually courts will not, legally evict them anyway. Usually they would allow the lead time, but I think this for our city, it's our city council job to make sure there are no like corporates. Usually corporates, when they buy the building and turn around and they evict all tenants and refurbish or demolish, and so they can have new tenants coming in, and so they can make profit from that. But I guarantee you, majority of landlords in St. Gabriel, they're not like corporate. So I think they're all good landlords. They want to keep their tenants. They want to make sure their tenants can afford to pay the rent. So but still, I think this is a good time to place this moratorium. So I support that.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Leal.
Mayor Pooh, may I just ask a question for clarification?
Absolutely.
So if this ordinance would be approved today, it would be effective from today moving forward to 12/31/19. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I will reiterate the findings here. It is urgent that the city provide these protections immediately, or homelessness and displacement will surge as a result of landlords' accelerating rush to evict tenants before AB 1482 takes effect. And failure to adopt this temporary ordinance may subject tenants to economic hardship and potential displacement that may lead to homelessness to the detriment of the public health, safety, and welfare. And Government Code Sections 36.934 and 36.937 authorize the city to adopt an urgency ordinance for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety. Is there a motion?
Motion to move this.
Okay, it's a motion.
A second.
Motion and second. Because we have somebody participating by telephone conference, we need to do a roll call vote by voice. So, Councilmember Harrington,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Menchaca,
Aye.
myself, aye. Councilwoman Costanzo,
Aye.
and Councilmember Leal.
Aye.
All right. The 5-0 vote, the urgency ordinance passes. And with that, I think we are adjourning to our next special city council meeting, which will be held on Tuesday, December 3rd at 7:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you all for your participation.